Hi, guys, and we are live. All I want to say is live in Las Vegas now for some reason.
Hi.
Don't ask me why. Hi, guys, and welcome to the live show where we will be discussing The Prospects by KT Hoffman. Um, Before we get to introductions, I will say Sam couldn't be here, and we are sending her all of our love and all of our hearts and hugs. And that's where I'm going to end that because I don't want to say too much. Oh, and hi, Shay. I
Hi,
can't wait to
Shay.
figure out who's a hoe in this book.
Hi.
Um, let's start with our introductions, and I will kick it off to our little sis.
Well, hi, I'm Hope from It's Hope's Books, and I have not finished the book. I am 55% in. Let me just quickly check. 58% into the book, but it's looking to be like where I'm at now, it's like a 3-star, maybe. That's what I'm kind of thinking.
There we go.
Yep, 3-star. I'm Lori from the Chatty Bookworm. I gave it 3 stars.
And obviously, you guys are on my channel. I am Clint from Reed's Readers, and I gave it a 4, a very strong 4. I wasn't liking it at the beginning, but once I got the groove of things, I loved it. Shay says she's currently at a 3.5. So decent. No one absolutely hated it, so at least there's a positive. It could be worse. It could be January's pick.
Where I was
Hi,
the only one that
Karina.
liked it.
Karina, I really
Hi.
enjoyed this one. I'm giving it a 4. Yay. Like I was telling the girls earlier, yes, there are discussion questions in the back, but I do not have the brainwidth to type those questions, nor did I have the brainwidth to want to discuss some of those topics. So as we discuss the basic questions, we can get into some of those topics like the ADHD, the trans, and all of that stuff as we're discussing other things. We're taking it easy here. That is.
We need that.
Yeah.
So, we're just going to start with our thoughts on the characters. Favorite, least favorite. Let us start. Or do y'all have a favorite character? Do you have a least favorite character?
My favorite character definitely is Luis because just anxiety-filled mess that I relate to, and he's my favorite character. He's the only, like, in some ways, the only thing really keeping me going because it's like he is so, like, when he expresses the way he feels, it's so raw and just that struggle that he has with being honest and expressing himself because of that anxiety and just those little things. I relate to that on like a personal level so much.
I agree with that. I love Louise.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really love Dodger. I love the fact that we had a dog.
Yeah, yes. In reality, Dodger's the best character.
I mean,
Of course.
and I really love Vincent.
Yeah, Louise is definitely my favorite. I don't think I had a least favorite. I'm trying to think.
The only least favorite I can say would be Gene's former coach. We don't get him in the book, but that's like the only because he had like a transphobic moment
Yeah, but we don't
with
really
that.
interact with that character.
So I'm just like, that's like the only character I can say that if they were introduced, I'd want to punch him.
Yeah, because it's like each character has their reason for being in the story, and none of them are necessarily bad characters. They're just,
Mhm.
a lot of them are more just background characters that are just like the other players that we see at practice on the bus, like it just like in passing.
Mhm. Oh, and the moment with the mom, with Louisa's mom. I'm
Love it.
trying not to spoil things, but there's a moment with Louisa's mom.
Go for it.
Listen. Oh, that got me. But Shay, I know you're here in the comments. Is there a hoe? Because I know every book we've had so far, there's been a hoe. So I'm just curious if you know who the hoe is of this. So, because I can't think of one that would be a hoe.
Neither.
Except there is one moment where Baxter and I did not get along. Is it Baxter or Baker?
Baker.
Right after I said Baxter, I went, wait, that's not the right name. Baker.
Yeah, it's Baker. You were close.
The lesbian.
Which I love that aspect.
And I'm just going to say these questions are like super basic questions. So, do we have a favorite scene or a least favorite scene?
The only I sorry, Laura, you go. I gotta find my one note I made.
I was just gonna say the part that Clint was talking about with Louise and his mom. That was definitely my favorite.
Mm,
Karina says she really likes the team manager, Baker.
yeah,
Love Baker. If KT Hoffman wanted to write a book about Baker, I would read it.
yeah,
If they put a little less baseball.
Yeah.
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 My only note that I've written down, looking back, I wrote this morning half asleep while I was listening to the audiobook. Bathroom anxiety Sour Patch Kids moment.
Yes.
That's my only note. I read that and I was like, okay, I feel that because of just the when Jean walks in and like Luis is just sitting in the bathtub fully clothed, just having a moment, and I'm like, I have done that, except it's been sitting in the middle of my bedroom floor.
That is like every time Sterling goes takes a shower, he decompresses in the shower, so he like sits and lets the
Yeah.
shower attack him.
Yeah, I do that almost every shower too.
So,
It's
um,
it's self-care.
it really is. Oh, the scene that Jean got called, I teared up. Ugh. Um, I will say, because I feel like we're not gonna actually get to them, but the sex scenes in this book, I really appreciated them for what they were. How authentically they went. When the sex scenes started, I went, ooh, where is this gonna go? Where is this gonna go? Where is this gonna go? My brain was like, I had to turn off the audiobook and physically read those scenes because I was scared that they might be cringy.
Yeah.
Because this is the first time I have read an adult novel where there would be sex scenes with a trans character. And I was kind of curious if they were going to go there. And I have to agree with Karina, they were a lot spicier than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the one scene that because I read the first scene where
You
they
got
do
the
it.
munch munch scene. That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say with that scene.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, oh, oh, oh," like, in a good way of just like, "Oh, we're doing we're doing that? Oh, okay."
I kinda
And
wish
it
we
w
got Louise's point of view,
Yes, yes.
especially in that scene, as someone who identifies 100% as gay, to jump into a scene like that. I would have loved to have seen his point of view on how he was feeling during that.
definitely.
If he was like going through because he has anxiety,
Right.
and you know his brain is like, oh, am I doing this right? Is that how I'm supposed to use? Is the tongue supposed to go like that? Or is it supposed to be like this? Does he like it? Oh, is he just telling me he likes it and he really doesn't? I wanted those moments and I wanted it to be seen, at least with that first scene. I felt like we were lacking just a little bit of that.
Yeah, or even it could have been just expressed with a little bit more communication
Mhm.
of it's like, "Okay, am I doing this right? Okay, what parts of what I'm doing right are the best? What could," and you need those
Mhm.
conversations.
Hmm.
As someone who identifies as 100% a gay man, I have found multiple trans men attractive. But I know what would be going through my head the first time I ever do that. Because I have attempted to do that on a woman once and it did not go over well when I was trying to like force myself to be straight. So I can imagine the anxiety going through his head during that. Hello? I mean, PTSD. I'm going to be nice and not actually say what I did during that. So, but, so I appreciated the fact of this book going there. There was even, you haven't gotten to it yet, Hope, but there is towards the end of the book one of their sex scenes where Louise pulls out a strap on and just like places it on the bed and looks over at Jean and goes, "Is this okay?" And Jean's like, "Hell yeah, let's go." And I went, "Oh, so we showed Louise being the top, and then we also showed Jean being the top." And I
Oh, that makes
really,
me more excited.
and that I really appreciate that, especially with someone who earlier on in the book, he is in the locker room and he's very confident in being naked, but at the same time, he's very shy about it around the guys. Because in his head, he's never put himself as being sexy. And that he's like, no one will ever find him attractive. Because he identifies as trans and a gay man. And I'm trying to say, how do I say this as a cisgendered man without it coming out wrong? But he's missing something that gay men crave.
Yeah.
Granted, I did see a meme earlier today where it had a gay guy and a trans man in it, or not a meme, like this little cartoon thing, where the gay guy looks at the trans man, "Oh, you're cute. It doesn't bother you that I'm trans?" He's like, "I'm gay, not dick sexual." And I went, that is so perfect for Louise. So, do we have a least favorite scene?
Uh,
Anytime the announcers appeared.
Oh yeah, I didn't like the announcers. I guess those
mm,
could be your least favorite characters. Announcers.
Oh, I don't think of them as
yes.
characters. It's just every time they appeared, I was like, please go away.
Yeah, what? It's what the hell are their names? One's Nancy and something.
Nancy and Dan.
Oh
Yeah,
god,
Nancy and Diane.
Dan and
they are my
Nancy.
least. They are my least favorite characters. It takes you out of the story because of it just being like just different.
Hmm.
But then those scenes, I guess I'm like, well, I guess in some ways you're getting like an outside perspective on the story.
I can see what you're saying, Karina. My only issue I had is as someone who used to play baseball but doesn't remember a lot of the things about baseball, when we get into a lot of the sports romances that I read, when they get really heavily into the sports and there's a new term introduced, they basically explain what that is right afterwards. The only issue I really had with this book is every time they introduced something new with baseball, it was like we had to know what it meant. And when the announcers went, "Oh, he has a .330 batting," I was like, "Please explain. What the
I know.
hell does that
I'm
mean?"
like, I'm like, is that how many times he hits the ball, or is that
Is that I
something?
was like, "Is that the speed he hits the ball?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
"It is going over my gay head. I am too gay to understand these sports terms right now." Like,
I'm like, I've been to one baseball game in my life, and that was like, I was maybe like 8 years old, 8, 9 years old.
I've gone to
I don't remember
several.
anything.
And the last time I played baseball was pitcher machine in middle school. That was what, over 20 years ago?
Hmm.
Oh God. Oh God. I actually feel old just thinking about that. But that's but I'm like sitting here going, I, some of those terms, I was like, please could you explain them a little bit more so that those of
Explain.
us dumb it down for the audience.
Yeah, it's like dumb it down for the dumbasses when it comes to baseball.
That's literally the only issue I had with this book was just a tad bit too much baseball.
Yeah.
See, and that's why, like in the beginning, when I was just reading the ebook, I was like, I'm hating this. And then
Hmm.
thankfully I tried to like, yes,
If there was a
there was a
glossary for the
glossary.
terminology, that would have helped a lot of us.
Yes, because and then when I switched to the audiobook, because I found it on Spotify, because I forgot Spotify has audiobooks.
Hmm.
I don't know what brought me to search it up, and it was on there, but that's the only reason I continued this book, 'cause I think I got like 6 chapters in or something, and I was
Hmm.
like, my brain was not processing anything. Switched to the audiobook, actually was like, okay, hearing the words made it process a little bit more.
I kind of wish we would have had almost a full cast audio, at least for the narrators, like the announcers and stuff like that, because that would have felt a little bit more authentic with them. But something about their voices, like everything blended a little bit with the audio, so it's like I was trying to remember who was talking at certain moments. And then when the narrators would come in, I'm like, okay, you're using too much terminology. I need you to back it up. You're not the type of sports announcers that I like to listen to because you're doing too much terminology way too fast and I have no clue what just happened in the game. He grabbed a bag. What does that mean? Is a bag a base?
Is it a home run?
It went over the I what? I was like, what's a bag? Karina, if you know what a bag is, could you please explain that to us?
Yes, please. I'm lost
Because
and I do not want to Google it.
she loved the sports casting. She thought it added to the story since it's baseball centric, which it does. But she's also a total sports nerd, so she understood it. as someone who barely watches any sports, and if I do, it's probably going to be a football game. And then usually when I'm in like a dude bro kind of a feel of I just want to scream at TV. I know when my mom lived with me at one point, she came home one night and I was watching it was Dallas Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers. And she walked into the house and I'm just like, "Ref, that was a stupid call, blah blah blah." And I'm screaming at the TV. She looked at me, she said she backed out the door, kept looking at my apartment number, looking at me, looking at my apartment number. And she just walked up to me and tapped me on the shoulder and I was like, "What?" She's like, "Who are you and what have you done with my child?" Because you're calling things and I'm looking at the screen and you're calling it right. Who are you and what have you done with my fabulous son? I was like, "You know me, there's once in a blue moon that occasionally I could get into a sport. Listen." Yes, she can see how it's distracting. Hi Trin.
Hi, Trin.
Hello.
I am doing good. How are you? I feel like in sports romances these days there isn't enough of the sports being played, so I really liked how prevalent the baseball was in this one. Which I did appreciate the fact that they were actually playing the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just feel like it's like there's that balance of too much and not enough, and this one leaned a little bit more towards the
Too much.
too much
Yeah. Yeah, it
for
did.
my taste.
I just went, maybe baseball isn't the type of romance for me. I have read
What I
books with
think.
baseball players, but we never got into the actual art of them actually playing baseball. Well, the Lynn Painter one does, but the was it oh, it's the sequel to Better Than the Movies. It has a lot of like they're actually playing baseball in college.
Yeah, even my son, when he was asked me about the book, he said, baseball and romance just don't seem like it's good together. Like it would go good together.
I mean, I've attempted one other baseball romance that was Mel Mel, but that one I felt icky because you could tell the author was fetishizing gay men
Mm-hmm.
and they have never seen a porno in their life because the way that the sex scene was written just we can't do that. I'm sorry, that's not humanly possible. Like one leg was here, one leg was over here, the neck was over here. I was like, we can't do whatever you're trying to describe in this doesn't make sense. And the way she's describing it, and it's supposed to be two straight dudes doing it, is not realistic. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I think I would have liked it more if it was a little less baseball.
Okay, a bag equals a base. So every time they lost the bag, they lost a base. Okay, that makes sense. Where was this when we were reading it?
Exactly.
Trent said she's good and annoyed with the hubby. Who isn't annoyed with their hubby or significant other these days? Especially if they're a man. That's totally valid. The sport was heavy-handed for sure. Just like a hair too much. Like I would have liked a little dumbing down on a couple of things.
Yeah.
So, um, I mean, okay, they are doing crazy things in heterosexual romances too. I'm still
They
trying to
definitely do.
figure out how something this big can go into something that little.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The way that when I read that comment, my brain, I don't know why, immediately thought of like the car scene in Haunting at is it the first Haunting Adeline book where something to do with seatbelts and I'm like, huh? I don't know why that's what my brain thought of.
Mhm. Did he go silent? I think we're.
Am I the only one that can't hear Clint?
I can't hear him either.
Okay, I'm like, did I just all of a sudden go deaf?
I know.
Oh,
You were in for a
Say that
second.
again?
Try again.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you.
I was like,
Okay.
just for a second, I was like, did my brain just forget how to listen?
I know.
Okay, did y'all hear the part where I was talking about the Barbie dolls that Emily Rath uses?
Mm-mm. I didn't hear that.
Emily Rath has
But I know.
very openly talked about having a set of Barbie dolls where when she writes a sex scene and she can't figure out if that's humanly possible, she whips out the Barbies and puts them in the positions
Oh, that's so
to
creative.
make sure that it's realistic.
Oh, that is good. I like that.
Because she said she's read sex scenes in other books and she's just like, I can't do that. And I'm skinnier than the main character, so I know the main character can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some authors do not know how to do it like good.
Um, I mean, if I would have thought to text you, but my brain doesn't go, let's text Karina a sports question.
Yeah.
If I was
Like,
Good to
talking
know
to,
for the future.
yes, if I was talking to maybe part of my family, I would have messaged one of them, but the ones that I would message, I don't talk to anymore. So, eh. What is a hubby and a significant others? Hello, hi everyone.
hi,
Hey,
Drew.
you may or may not get one in the future. Who knows?
They are weird creatures. That's all you have to
They
know.
are.
Yes, hope exactly. My mind went there with the seatbelts. My thing is thinking of broken mirrors and then doing it with the glass around you. Or if we go to that one book that Gavin read, What Hurt,
What
What
hurts?
Doesn't Hurt, or whatever, by that one author,
Oh.
Yeah,
with
I
the
know what you're talking
sharks
about.
and the head in the water while the shark is spinning.
I know.
I'm sorry, there's no way in heck a human would be doing that. No ifs, ands, or but. I can't hear you.
I think that was earlier.
Um,
Yeah.
I did that in our live show the other day where I accidentally hit the cord and it went flying and I had to quickly put it back in.
I think that was earlier.
Yeah. Hi, Drew. Wow, what a call out. Oh, I wasn't meaning anything bad. I was just like, it's something you'll experience or not experience. I can't predict your future. Who knows? You may decide to join a monastery. Who knows? Or will we be here in 10 years? Who knows?
True.
Oh, yes, shark sexy scene. No. Does it hurt?
Does it hurt? Yeah.
Is her least favorite H.D. Carlton. Okay. I was like, by that one author, isn't it the same author that did Haunting Adeline?
Yeah.
I was like, I can't remember names right now. If this tells you where my brain has been all day, be glad I finished the book. um, do we have any other scenes we liked in the book?
Mm.
Uh,
I like personally the Jersey scene
Oh,
where he can how he confesses he loves him and stuff by and putting on Louise's jersey, and then Louise is wearing his jersey, and just what leads to the and the
I haven't gotten to that scene yet.
That's why I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but
I know, but I'm just like, okay, maybe my plans are now just good for the rest of the day are just gonna be to finish this book.
Karina says she liked when Louise was opening up to Jean about his struggles with mental health and why he didn't make it to the big game. Because he had a panic attack while driving.
Yeah, I really like Jean.
The Jersey scene.
But I like Louise, of course.
Drew said he didn't read this pic, just here to hang out with friends. Yay! Well, welcome.
That is perfectly fine.
Fine, Drew. Like you being here.
Trying to see, is there any other? Oh, I like the scene with Jean's father.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And how authentic his uncle. Because his uncle adopts him.
Yeah.
But Jean is adamant that that is his dad.
Yes. And the fact that he's gay and he had that gay role model.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I love the character.
Yes. Also, Baker giving Jean tough love, even though it was pretty harsh towards the end. I agree. That was the one moment I could call Baker a hoe. Because I think she went a little too far in how she said it. But Jean needed that tough love in that moment. It's kind of a bitch slap with words of basically telling him that they need to break up because it's affecting their games. So they need to figure it out and not let it affect the game. So,
yeah.
I liked that Baker and Jean could relate to the adversity that they received in the sports and career choices. They had each other to lean on. Agreed. And the fact that they're constantly asked if this is a softball game instead of a baseball game. Basically saying that women can't play baseball or trans men can't play baseball. Which I'm sorry, have you never been hit by a softball? That shit hurts worse than a baseball. And I was hit in the middle of the chest with a baseball from a pitcher machine. And I've been hit in the back of the head with a softball, and that hurt worse. So I'm sorry. I'm going to give it up to you ladies. Y'all sports are a lot harsher at times. Especially when we come to a sport like softball versus baseball. Would love to see a man try to play softball and not cry.
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, me too.
Did anything in this book overtly shock you?
I mean, we've kind of already established that with the sex scenes, they were a bit more than we thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was
Agreed, Karina. Athletes are athletes no matter what gender. I played softball for years, and it's no joke to get hit by one. Agreed. Yeah, it's just the sex scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can't think of anything else.
And it only shocked me because I didn't think we were going to go that raw. And I'm not talking about no condom. I'm talking about how authentic these scenes were.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
how realistic and how well written that they were. Because I was expecting it to kind of be a little bit more than PG-13, but not like kind of in between where it's like PG-13 and what it was. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, like we'll be descriptive on the scenes, but like not descriptive.
Right.
If I do believe, I don't want to misgender, but I do believe Katie Hoffman themselves is trans. Is a trans man. Feel like I read that somewhere. So it felt like yes, I like the disclaimers at the beginning. Where please also know that just as trans people use many different words to describe our bodies for reasons are as varied as the people those words describe. Gene chooses his because they are comfortable to him. They may not be words every trans man could choose, but they are his. And there is a moment in this book that I also appreciated that I forgot to mention when he's talking about his passport and his like ID for flying and how it still has his dead name on it. So he shows it really fast.
Yeah.
At first, with the audiobook, because I was doing something, I heard Debbie, not dead name, and I immediately paused everything I was doing, picked up this book, and was like, what was the word used?
Yeah, it's like what did you say?
Did they actually list the dead name in this book? Because that was like, oh, whoa. But I
Yeah.
appreciate that it just says dead name. How spicy is this book on a scale of 1 to 5 chilies? About a 4.
Yeah, like a from what I've read, I would even say like three and a half, 4.
Yeah, somewhere around in
You
there.
know me. I read a lot of smutty books, so I'd say probably a 2.5 for
I mean,
me, but probably a 4 for. Yeah.
it's not the most sexual thing I've ever read. Because if
For
we're
the
gonna talk
it's like
about
for the
that,
type of book it is.
Yeah, for the type of book,
It's
yeah,
like a
3.5 to
4.
4.
Yeah. If
what
like
a
in the general view of like smutty books, it's like 2.5, 3.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's also the first sex scene that I've ever read with a trans character, I'm giving it a 4 on the spicy level because of how real it was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the realness, yeah, definitely a 4.
The fact that they don't shy away, and he even makes a joke later on in the book talking about, oh, for someone who really likes to eat me out,
Yeah.
that's a bold-faced lie that you don't like me or something. And I went, oh, he went there. Oh, he went there. And the fact that he's like, sit on my face, I went, oh,
Yeah, I
oh,
think
Yeah.
sir,
I heard
sir.
that and I was just like, okay,
I did
I
like
was
it.
with this.
I was like, where's my
Like
napkin so I can wipe my
Yeah.
feet real fast and sit on down? I thought it would have been hilarious if he would have pulled out a wet nap or something right in that scene. That could have been hilarious.
That would have been really funny. That would have been hilarious.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
yep.
I agree. I like that KT
Hey, cutie.
Hoffman didn't shy away from the spice.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
You can all say hi.
I don't have any, but did any
Either.
quotes really stand out? I feel like there
I think I
should have been, but I was more focused on enjoying the book than I was looking for quotes.
okay. I highlighted this one. I don't know why. It's from chapter 5, but I just read it and I was like, I like this quote. I can't say what page it is because I don't know because the ebook is different, but it's their situations are different, their lives marked by their identities in decidedly different ways. Gene knows this, but he can understand, at least to some extent, how lonely it can be sometimes to look different, to be different from the person you'd expect to find on
Okay,
a
yeah, I
baseball
remember that one
card.
now. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'd read that and I was like, yeah, that is true. It's like they both have that like differing situations about their identities that makes them like
Mhm.
not normal to baseball.
There's also, I remember there's a quote later, like a little bit past that. I don't remember how far past that, where it's that moment with Gene and Baker, and he makes like a comment of, I'm the only one that can get away with asking this question. Okay, balloons.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to
I have
do
no
what
idea. I don't even know how.
I don't know. I tried. I don't know. I tried.
It'll do it when you least expect it.
Yes. But I appreciated that the whole thing. Ooh, ooh. I knew you were going to come out with some quotes, Karina. Jean almost prefers this type of family support. Love without the details he has always found is easier to receive. Also, can we talk about how much the mental health is discussed in this?
Oh yeah.
The ADHD, the anxiety, and how open and honest like Louise is about his panic attacks, to the point where there's one scene where he has a panic attack and Jean rushes him to the hospital.
Haven't
Yeah.
gotten there, but good to know.
Sorry.
No worries. When in doubt, when I don't finish a book, I'm like, I'm expecting at least
Mm.
a dozen spoilers.
But it's like one of those, it was like one of those scenes where they end up having the conversation of why he didn't go, how he had his first accident, and why he couldn't go to the major leagues because he was on his way to the major leagues when he had his accident and had to go back down to the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And why he has Dodger now. Because
Which
Dodger
as
is his emotional support dog.
which as soon as Dodger was introduced, I was like, is it good? I was like, is well, at first I was like, is it gonna be a service animal of some type? And then kind of we got a little further, and I was like, emotional support dog. And then when we got to the reveal, I'm like, ding, 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 I did get that right. But that is so sweet of where it's like that also the team is willing to make that accommodation of, yeah, your dog can come with us. Because there are unfortunately some places that even though it is law for those for service animals and emotional support animals to be
Brat.
like they have to be allowed into the building, allowed into whatever. There's still some places that they treat the person differently because of
Mhm.
that.
I mean, there's a moment in this book where they're in a Denny's and Dodger's with them underneath the table.
Yeah. And nobody says anything.
And I appreciate the conversation they had at the Denny's about Denny's being the worst restaurant ever, but we still go there to eat.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever eaten. No, I've ate at a Denny's once.
I'm sorry, if it is 2 o'clock in the morning and you are drunk off your ass, you are either at a Denny's or you are at a Waffle House.
We
I'm
don't
sorry,
have
there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Around here.
we don't have either, so you're at a 7-Eleven.
Okay, we have those too. You're there too, getting
I know.
yourself a, what is it, a
I
slushie?
know. I
Yes.
know, but that's
Slurpee.
yeah, but that
Slurpee.
a Slurpee, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's the go-to place when drunk. I've literally walked to 7-Eleven drunk to get pizza,
But when you're drunk,
and they didn't have pizza.
those are the best places to go though, because it's like it's that comfort food that it's not going to taste the best when you're sober at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, you want it when you are like tired. It's the only place you can go. Sit down, relax, let's eat. Ugh.
Yep. Mine was White Castles growing up,
Um,
especially when you
Drew,
were drunk.
Drew says, it's okay, Hope. I'm like that too. I don't read the books at all or last minute of reading them.
Mine was
Um,
just that my brain could not read earlier this week. I think I tried starting it like three
Excuse me.
times. Couldn't get past the first chapter. I was like reading and I was like, huh, what is English?
I mean, I saved both book club books for this week, and basically was reading them on the days of the book club meetings, live shows, and be glad I finished this one. And I'm just happy I did because I loved it. Because at one point I contemplated, is this going to be a month where I DNF both? I can't do that. I can't.
Yeah, I was glad that I finished it. I know I only gave it 3, but I really liked it.
Karina said she loved the mental health conversations because the stigma that pro athletes have against them. Agreed.
Yep.
Sometimes Denny's is the only option, and sometimes they got some bomb ass pancakes too. Let's be honest. Their s'mores
Time.
pancake that they put out during winter time with the marshmallow fluff in between the stacked of the pancakes,
That
graham
sounds
cracker
amazing.
pancakes drizzled in chocolate. Ugh! Listen.
The way
Now I'm
that now I'm
hungry.
like, I don't, now I'm like, should I make pancakes one of these days and do that?
Waffle House is where it's at.
I love Waffle House.
Get
We have to
you
go far though.
a chocolate chip waffle. I always get my chocolate chip waffle, my eggs over hard, my hash browns so extra crispy. I want nothing soft, and I want to smother that in ketchup. And then I want my sausage and my bacon on the side. Ugh. And then to smear the chocolate chips and smear that butter on top of those waffles. Ugh, with my sweet tea. Ugh.
I have a random thing that popped into my brain that it's a question now I have to ask. It was when you said like I don't want anything soft, I want it all hard. We were talking me and my boyfriend were talking about bacon last night because I made bacon. And he was like, "Do you like your bacon soft or hard?" And I'm like,
Who says bacon like
"You
that? It's either crispy or chewy.
yeah, exactly." And I was like, um, "Do you really need to know the answer to that?" Of course I like it hard. And then we both just burst out laughing.
I who
That made me
doesn't?
think of that and I had to share it.
Greasy and easy diner food is the best when intoxicated. It really is. Drew's like, Clint, stop talking about food. I'm broke and hungry.
I know, I'm like, I just ate before the live, and now I'm like,
I'm
even though
still
I ate
currently
fast,
eating. I'm still
I ate
currently eating my dinner.
so good. I grabbed KFC after grocery shopping because I was like, I'm hungry and I don't want to cook anything because I won't be able to
Ooh,
eat.
a KFC famous bowl. Ooh.
I almost
Okay.
got
I
that. I
can't
got
have
they
meat
had these
today,
little
so you guys are making me
like
want
kind
meat.
of like snack wrap things, and they have a hot honey one, and I was like, oh,
Have you tried? Because I got one on accident. They served me the wrong type of famous bowl once. And I didn't realize till I got home and I was like, screw it, I'll eat it. Have you tried the one with the mac and cheese instead of the mashed potatoes?
we don't have mac and cheese here. I know every time I see KFC mac and cheese, I want it so bad. I know.
Oh,
I know.
I was just about to say that's un-American, but you're not American.
We had the
Well, actually, you are American because you're in North America,
America.
but you're not.
My brain
Oh,
went nasty American. I'm
I
sorry. I have
mean,
no filter
no
today.
comment.
I have tried the mac and cheese because they had a limited run where they had it here for like a couple months. And it was really good.
I'm gonna assume Panda Express, correct, Drew? Because you said you had Panda for lunch at 2. I'm gonna assume Panda Express.
Yeah, I
Because
really
here
hope.
we have 3 different kinds of pandas. We have Panda Express, Panda Garden, which is buffet, and then we have Golden Panda.
Yeah, my brain just immediately went Panda Express, so I'm gonna go with that
I mean,
unless.
Oklahomans are very uncreative, and Panda, like Panda or one of the it's either Panda or like a flowers in the title of like a lot of our Chinese food places.
Mm.
So, thoughts on this writing style?
Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It kind of felt average-ish.
Karina with, I don't know there was more than one panda. I know. Panda Garden is where it's at. That's where I get my sesame chicken. And the buffet with the green meats. Ooh. Didn't mind the writing. Got double orange chicken and white rice. Ooh.
Oh,
I've
yummy.
never had Panda Express,
Oh, so good.
but I'm planning on changing that because when we go on vacation, we're going to a mall that has Chick-fil-A and Panda Express. I'm doing the Panda Express.
Okay, it's like don't do homophobic chicken.
Well, those are like popular American places that I'm like, I wanted to try Chick-fil-A, but I'm like, yeah, no.
Panda's orange chicken is the only orange chicken you like. I like there's this bag you can get that I make our teriyaki chicken from. I get from the grocery store. That's this red bag. They have an orange chicken version of it that I like that Sterling doesn't. Sterling doesn't like sweet foods. And so how have you not had Panda Express? She's Canadian.
Again.
I'm
Yep.
At this point,
Canadian.
I just assume she hasn't tried a lot of the things we've tried.
I am Canadian. I live in a town that the population's about 12,000, and I think the nearest Panda Express technically I think might be just in another country entirely because I think the closest one to me is in the US, but the closest one that I legally can go to is like 8 hours away.
So, but yeah, I liked the writing style. It was easy to get into. I just wish there was 2 points of view.
I feel
Yeah.
like that would have hooked me immediately, made me so invested, and then I
Yep.
would have put off everything else that I had to do today to binge this in the nicest way. But where it is currently, excuse me, I'm
Where have
the
you
Canadian
been?
little sister here.
Like, where have you been, Drew?
Yeah.
She's she's our little sis of the north.
Exactly.
But yeah, if there was a second point of view, but I do particularly I tend to like more when both love interests have points of view, even if one of them only has like a couple of chapters here and there.
Right. Hmm.
So, like with Say You Swear, Noah gets a couple towards the end, right?
Haven't read it, so I'm not
It's
sure.
been forever since I read it, so I can't remember.
And I remember that wrong. I think I scratch what I just said because I don't know if I'm correct or not, and I don't feel like moving that entire stack to get
I was
to it.
like, that possibly.
Oh, sure.
But yes, Fourth Wing with Zayden. Agreed.
Yeah.
Haven't read that. The way that both the books I've mentioned, I literally can see right there and right there on my shelves.
I feel like you would like Fourth Wing a lot. Say You Swear. If you don't like it, don't tell me.
No, it's like if I
No,
don't like
actually, you
it,
can
just
tell me.
no, it's like if I don't like it, you might have to unfriend me.
No, I didn't unfriend Amanda. Amanda ended up hating it, and she does an entire vlog about it.
Yeah.
Just
I
if you're
think
not
I'm gonna
liking
like
it, quit vlogging.
Okay.
Or if you post that vlog, let me know that that's in there so I don't
Just be
watch
like,
said vlog.
yeah, just be like, oh, if you want to watch it, just watch up until 13 minutes, and then that's the end of the video for you.
Does this book remind you of any others?
I don't know. I don't think
I feel
so.
like we always have this question, and we're always like, does it?
The only thing that this reminded me of, because of how much baseball was a focal point, and I'm trying to be as PC as I say this because what I'm thinking of is an all girl thing, but it made me think League of Our Own, which is which is a movie about the entirety of the very first all female
Right,
baseball
right.
team.
I've seen that.
It's just make it that, but make it gayer. So it's like that was like the only thing that kind of connected with me on that. Instead of all girls, it's all guys, and then put it a little bit gayer. And I only think of that because of how detailed they go into it about the baseball. The movie also has Madonna in it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it also have Rosie O'Donnell?
Yes, 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 it
It's like
does.
the weirdest set of people in the same movie. This was singular for me because I can't think of one. I can't either except for that.
Like, my brain is just thinking it's like, okay, yeah, any like sports romance, like queer sports romance, but I'm like, but like that's the only similarities between what I'm thinking of and this, so I'm like, not really. And then it's like that's like all that's popping into my head, but it's like nothing specific. Like,
And I
oh, this
and I
book because this character or reminds me of this character. Like,
I kind of like that though. Plus Tom Hanks as the coach.
Yes, yes. I love Tom
Um,
in that movie.
oh, also Karina and Lori. Just because a friend of mine mentioned it to me, because we were talking Fourth Wing for Imogen, she immediately went to the girl from the Hunger Games movies that is in the second one of the people that helped film her, the one that's got the half shaved head with the braid and then the hair down to this side. She said she
I
immediately saw Imogen when she
Oh,
I
saw
know
a
who
picture of
you're
her.
talking about, but I
Um,
don't know the character. Because
hold
I
on.
haven't read Fourth Wing, but I know the like character from the Hunger Games that you're thinking of.
This character is who she saw was this person for Imogen.
oh, okay.
Just put pink hair on her.
Uh, yeah. I can see it.
Yeah, and Drew is right down here. That's in Mockingjay, my brother.
Well, it's Hunger Games. Listen, Hunger Games franchise, okay?
That's what my brain went to.
Can see that. It's in my Mockingjay, my brother. Tell him, Drew. Would you reread this?
After I finish it, no.
No.
I might. And I will go into it with different expectations. I will know that there's a lot of baseball.
See, that's I think my thing. It's like I was hyped up for it because of being like, oh, well, I've never read an adult like MM where the main character's trans. So it's like I was so excited. I was like, I put it on this pedestal of it's going to be amazing, and then it let me down because of being like the easiest way to describe it. It's like it feels almost like 75% baseball, 25% romance. although that isn't the exact statistic if you were to look at it, but that's what it felt like.
Yeah, we
Because
like more
even when
50
we
50.
were, yeah, like even when it was focused on the romance, there were still those little bits of baseball creeping in, which, yes, it's two baseball players. What do you expect? But it's like it just needed to tone down a little bit less during those scenes. If that makes any sense.
And Karina said she wouldn't mind rereading it, but it's not on her priority list. Agreed. It's one that I would reread and revisit if I was doing. Which I will also say, something I found out today is today's the last day of the trans readathon that was going on. And I thought that was fitting that the live show is on the last day about a trans character. So I would reread it if I needed something to like fit in for a prompt for something like that. If this like fit perfectly for like a prompt.
I don't think I would
Yeah.
keep the. I don't think I would keep the book, but I might listen. I mean, I might buy the ebook or something just to have it that way, but I wouldn't keep the physical.
I can't wait for Sterling to read it and for Tate to read it. I want Tate to tell me his thoughts on it.
Yes, when Tate reads it and gives you his thoughts, let me know because that's an interesting
Yeah,
perspective.
To have a trans male read it is kind of like I want to know
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be.
how they
Yeah,
feel about how it's portrayed, even
Yeah.
though
Even
every
though,
person's journey is different.
right.
yeah, but it's still that mindset of like, oh, maybe insert aspect was similar or insert aspect was like
Okay,
just to have that
but
insight. It's like even though yes, it is written by a trans author, so it's like there is that experience going into the book
mhm.
of it being written. It's still good to see like other perspectives of a book in general.
Also something I found kind of fascinating is in the author note at the end, which, mind you, when you listen to the audiobook, it reads the note from the author and then it reads the discussion questions and then also reads the lineup and their walk songs, the running playlist, the bagel recipe. It reads it all in the audiobook at the end.
I'm sorry, there's a bagel recipe.
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't go that far in.
That's
Once I finished it, that's what I.
I did too, but it started doing the notes. I skipped and it went, oh, it said this, skipped. Oh, it said that, skipped. Um, but what I thought was fascinating is this author played soccer, not baseball. I found that fascinating. I went, then why'd you choose baseball?
yeah.
Because
It
it
easily
says,
it easily could have been done with soccer. Just switch the sports aspect and
it said, I grew up playing soccer, indoor or outdoor, barely mattered as long as I could play goalie. I loved the immediacy of it. I loved diving to make a save, the mud kicking my uniform in the Oregon rain. Most of all, I loved being useful, important, and needed. Oh, okay. But baseball, on the other hand, didn't work its way into my life until the summer of 2018. I had just graduated college with the 500-page mess of an honors thesis in the form of a historical fiction novel, as well as the buggering realization that I was possibly a bit transgender. So I loved the fact that I was like, oh, so they did their research.
yeah, and I guess also it's like with the possible of the choosing baseball over soccer is wanting to not wanting it to be too relevant to yourself. Like the author didn't want to almost be like copy paste like, "Oh, well, I was a soccer player, so I'm gonna make my character a soccer player just for the ease and convenience of it. It adds
Yeah,
that extra layer of research and planning and
which
shows the dedication.
I appreciated that. I was just like, it threw me off when I read when that was said in the audiobook. I went, wait, what? Hold on to the thing. What does this say?
Yeah, see, I'm like, this is the first time I'm hearing this information, so I'm like processing it and then being like, okay, yeah, like that easily could be a reason why it's so baseball
Statistical.
heavy is because it's like yes, because they did the research and so wanting to apply that research into the book and just kind of might have just gone a little too much for the average reader.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing that in the author's note that they had their fair share of researching baseball. I was like, where's the thing? Would you read another book by this author?
Yes,
Absolutely.
I would.
I would.
Preferably not a baseball one,
Yeah.
but if they did a companion book to this, following Vincent, following Baker, following any of the side characters, I'd be down.
Yeah.
And I will know going into it
Go
that if they write another sports romance, that it may be a little heavy handed on the sports, so that I can change my expectations of that going in.
Yeah, and also it's like when you've read a book by an author before, you usually kind of know going in like, oh, well, this is what their last book was like, so we'll go in with this expectation, but
Yep.
it's like not like this is the author's only book, so there's no
Mhm.
nothing to compare it to.
And I think those of us as a collective here probably read a lot more hockey romance than any other type of romance, sports
Yep.
romance.
Definitely.
So we're so used to the hockey romance being done in a certain way that you can't do that with a baseball. You might be able to get away with doing that kind of with football and soccer, but baseball has completely different ways of doing things.
It's an entirely different, not to be a cliche, but it's an entirely different ballpark.
I mean, I'm still open to find more books in different sports, like more queer romances in other sports to see. Like I've never read a rugby book. Could you imagine a rugby book with two male rugby players falling in love?
If
Like it would
somebody,
be interesting to see.
if somebody knows a title of one of those, let us know.
Hello, put that down below, please. It's tough to compare sports because they're so different. Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Hope have read a made up sport
Mm-hmm.
in the Foxhole Court. And that was very sports heavy at moments. But it wasn't
But
like the whole thing. It was also very
and
mafia.
yeah, it's like and it was more marketed as like it wasn't
Oh. No, no, no. Those, you're talking about Foxhole Court, which we're just talking about. That is rugby meets hockey
meets
meets
lacrosse.
lacrosse on ice.
Ooh.
And then there's a mafia element.
Yeah.
to it. It's like it's a sports slow burn, mel, kind of mel, kind of not.
Found family.
Found family, super slow burn, i.e., one kiss scene in the third book.
It's
Um, slow scene. But the greatest slow burn of them. Oh, yes,
Karina goes on ice. I didn't know that. Neither
yes.
did we until like the second read through. And even then it was so vague that it's like, wait, what? Is it? Is it not? Is it? I think Clint told me, and I was like, no, 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 it's not. I literally had to, I think I reread the book just to be like, it's not. And then it was like, okay, wait, it might be.
Uh-huh. I think you would enjoy it, Karina. Just remember that it is technically why
It's,
I would say new adult.
it's new adult.
It's
There's nothing
labeled
YA.
YA, but I would consider it new adult. It's in that college era, like boarding
Anytime I
school.
anytime I talk about it, I always say new adult because when I think YA, I'm like, would I want like a 13-year-old reading this book? No.
I mean, there's a moment where, not to give any spoil, this isn't really spoilery, but like the mafia aspect of it, he gets a cigarette lighter burned on the side of his face.
Hmm.
And they go a lot deeper past that. So it's
And
like, oh
yeah,
no, they hit that mafia side really heavily.
yeah.
That was
Because yeah, it was
before
like
new adult was a thing.
yeah, because it was like 2013, 2014. So yeah, that's when new adult was like starting to be a thing, but nobody used it really. It was more of like a, oh well, this could be a like a category, but that's right.
Would you recommend this book to others? I would.
Yes. If
I
they
would
were like,
also I would also say, just so you're aware, it is really heavy on the sports.
yeah, I would be like, if you're looking for a book that's like heavy on the baseball aspect, this is the book for that person.
Yes. Can we also talk about that this was a diversity like plethora? Cause Louise being Hispanic, um, not only is Jean, we don't really get a lot of Romanians and Jewish characters. He's Jewish, trans, and Romanian. Um, is it Vincent's husband that's deaf? That they
Y-
do like signing to
Yes.
Jack,
Yes. I
and then
think
you
so.
have a butch lesbian. You have, it's just like there's so many different diversities
Hmm.
discussed in this. Like at one point, oh, another one of my favorite moments in this I forgot to mention was they put him on they put him on the pitcher mound, and the umpire dude was like, do you have any curve? Like, how good is your fastball? Blah blah. And they're having that conversation. It's like, do you have any curve? He's like, only on my hips. And I
Hmm.
was like, yes. Sorry. Yes, so much. Whoa. I'm sorry. That yes came out really loud. Yes, so much rep in here. I love it. I told you ADHD is strong today, and it is jumping out of me. Um, do we have any lingering questions or thoughts on the book?
I guess my only thought is like, I'm definitely gonna finish the book. Probably within the next few days, because in reality, I burnt out reading, and I'm like, my brain is like, I don't want to read more. But
Listen.
I like maybe over the weekend finish it. I think that's also my thing. It's like with my enjoyment, it's because I ended up needing to cram it into essentially like 24 hours. That it put more of that force onto it, of like the forceful, like, I have to read this, not, yeah, I have to read this, but I also want to read this.
Mhm.
And
I
that's
mean,
my thing where I tend to cram books and then it either ups my enjoyment or lowers my enjoyment, and I need to get better at that.
I filmed my April TBR for next month, and I still have mostly romances on there. But after doing two bingo board based romance readathons back to back, I think the first couple of books I'm going to be reading in April are going to be the non romance books and save all the romance towards the end. And if I read romance, it's going to be ones that aren't gay. I need to step away from MM because this is book number 14 that I have completed this month of MM.
Oh gosh. I completed one.
So
My goal is I have this book and one other book started that are MM, and I'm gonna finish those before the end of the month, even if it kills me.
Yeah.
I need you to read this, Hope.
I know. I have it on my Kindle.
I loved it so much I have to own a copy, and then in my wish list I have the other cover. The cover that
Yeah.
Lori got is in my wish list because I have the one with the sexy dude in the background. But you like your dark romance. This is dark romance.
I still
I
gotta
love
read it.
dark romance, but I have not read any in a while.
Like, I also have a dark romance on April's because I didn't get to it this month,
Ricochet.
which is dark hockey romance.
One of my favorite books ever.
There's a serial killer.
I want to read that so bad. Part of me's like, when I go on my trip, that might be the perfect read because it'll be like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I feel that hope. It's hard to enjoy fully when you have time constraints. Which one? The dark cowboy romance or the dark hockey romance? Both are
Or
MM.
both.
Or both.
Because I'm like both. Did I actually add Ricochet to my
I mean, Sam was the one
Goodreads?
who recommended the cowboy romance to me, so and I got her. I don't know if she actually read it or not, but I convinced her to read another book by this author, which is a Halloween novella with
No, I
masks.
did not.
14. I've read 14. I've only read 7 and DNF'd 1. I'm shocked by the 2 I DNF'd this month. Fear the Flames. And then the other one is a soft DNF. I just really, really, really hate the audiobook. And that's Game Changer by Rachel Reed. The voice that they do for the main guy irritates me to high heaven. And it's only one narrator for the entire book with 2 different points of views. And every time the other guy, one of the main characters talks, he has this like, kind of reminds me of Kronk from Emperor's New Groove, kinda. Like, I'm just gonna have this stupid, I'm an idiot kind of voice. And it just doesn't fit the character and it irritates me. So, oh, the hockey one. Well, yes, the hockey one, obviously. Um, UGNF, yes, yes, yes. Go watch the live show. You'll understand why. I will say this: I got to chapter 19, and I felt like it was going to put me in a reading slump. And I have to be a lot more conscious about my reading. If the book is going to put me in a reading slump, I can't. I mean, it might be a little too intense with the trigger warnings in that one because it's a dude and there's a lot of PTSD with him. And the other one learning how to love somebody with that level of PTSD. Like, it is heavy. Not Krong. Um, I'm pretty sure we all know the answer. Is this good representation of queer literature, specifically trans? Yes.
Yes, based on our knowledge.
Yes. Now, if anybody who is trans who happens to read the book and would kindly love to write down their experience with the book and let us know in the comments, We would love to hear y'all's opinions. Just leave those down below if you come and watch this live show to see people talk about the book. Let us know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. And I may screenshot some of them, and if you're okay with it, I may screenshot some and share it to our Instagram page. That way people can get an authentic thoughts on how trans was portrayed,
Yeah.
as all three of us are cisgendered. And that's not our experiences.
Yeah, it's not our place to be like, "Oh yeah, this was amazing representation." Like it like represents everybody's experience. It's like, no, we cannot say that. We would never say that. So it's good to
Which,
hear the perspectives of
mhm,
those that it actually applies to, like actually is like the
Yeah.
representation.
but us doing our book club and stuff is pushing us out of sight of our own experiences to experiences that we don't know a lot about,
A
i.e.,
learning experience.
trans, i.e., April's pick being non binary.
Right.
So I'm excited to learn that experience. Plus, gourmet. What was it in the synopsis that Shay said? Fish tacos. Gourmet fish tacos are in the synopsis. Sorry, they're called flying fish tacos. So I want to know why. And do we have a final rating for me and Lori? Are we just going to keep our ratings?
I'd probably give it change it from a 3 to a 3.5, but keep it at a 3 on Goodreads. But
I'm
for
staying at a 4.
so I'd go up a
I feel
half.
like after, yeah,
Is
I feel
that
like
even?
after our,
I don't think it is, Karina. It says still somewhere among the flying fish tacos, rampant egos, and culinary chaos is something that looks a lot like deliciously spicy chemistry.
okay, I'm more
So,
excited for this. But yeah, what I was saying, it's like I think just based on the talk, like our conversations, if like it could go up to like a 3.5. I maybe a 4. Who knows? It just depends on how the last what, 40% of the book
mhm.
is for me. I always feel bad when I haven't read the book because I'm like, well, who knows? I could decide I love the book on the last half and it's a favorite. Like, who knows?
Well, I will kindly make a little thing for this because Hope hadn't finished the book. We'll do a little picture and post it with her rating on
Okay.
the Instagram.
But yeah, probably like I could see it
If
becoming a 3.5 just based on our
if
conversation and the trajectory that it's going.
if her rating drastically changes, we'll share it. Because if she finishes it and goes, "This is a 5 star, this is oh my god, amazing," then we'll share that.
Yeah,
Right.
even though in the nicest way, I don't see that happening. But still,
I get that.
it could. It's like, but you never know.
Karina says she's sticking with the 4. This was a fun discussion and a fun read. Thank you. First, I want to say thank you for everybody for joining us. This was such a fun read. I do agree with Hope. I think I might have put the book a little too much on a pedestal
Me too.
because it was one of the ones I was the most excited for.
Yeah.
So,
I literally think in
um,
my TBR, I was like, I know nothing about this except Clint has like hyped it up. So I'm excited. Like, I think I said something along those lines in my TBR video.
I mean, um, someone said Anita Kelly, our author for next month. Anita Kelly stated, "This is my favorite book of this and any year." So, Karina says, "Make sure to add Hope on Goodreads to stay up to date."
True.
Y'all,
That's the first place I update after I finish a book.
um, but I want to thank everybody for joining
Careful,
us.
you knocked my tablet down, cat.
This was so much fun, and I hope you guys join us next month for Love and Other Disasters, and we will be joined by Jasmine from Jasmine Sierra on YouTube. She said this one's been on one of her TBR lists for years. And
Same.
this is the start of a series, so if this is a book we end up loving, you guys end up loving, there's 2 others. And I do believe the third one just came out.
I've had it since 2022, so
I got this from Half Price Books because I found the hardback was cheaper than the paperback. Even
Damn.
if it did have a rip in the page, I didn't care. This was $8, and the paperback that was there was $12. So I went,
Yeah, then
okay.
that's a steal.
Well, it's a book of the month edition. That's why I was like, I'll take it. I don't care. But I'm excited to read a non-binary book. We don't get a lot of those, especially in adult romances.
Yeah, not really. I'm trying to think of other ones that like pop in my head, and I'm like, I'm sure there is some if I actually think, but like the first one I think about is Love and Other Disasters.
First one I think about is Book Boyfriend by Chris Ripper, which was my favorite book of 21? 2021?
I think 2021 sounds.
Something like that. I know it was a little far back, and we're reading a Chris Ripper this year anyway, so we'll get more non-binary in the fall. But I'm excited. It's also super big writing in the book, so that's a plus. But thank you, Hope. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Karina, Shay, Trin, and Drew. Was that everybody?
I think.
so.
I think so.
I think so too. So thank you
Oh,
guys for
not
joining in the chat. Um, we're gonna leave you off with that. And remember, kids, to embrace your inner rainbow. Take care of your mental health. As they say, hydrate or mummify. And until next time, I hope you guys have a gay day. Bye.
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 In broadcast.
And the broadcast.
In broadcast.